Hi everyone, happy 2024. If you're anything like me, and I'm sure like a lot of us, you already started working on your 2024 New Year resolutions, whether it's just thinking about them or actually getting a head start at them. But did you know that by February, statistically, 80% of us will have failed those New Year resolutions? That's just insane. When I read that, I was amazed. Of course, I've had my own fair share of failed resolutions. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 biggest New Year resolution misconceptions so that you can know what to watch out for and actually make 2024 your year. We think that there's something magical about the new year, and I mean, maybe there's something magical about being with family and friends and the fireworks and the food and all that warm festive feeling, but nothing is actually changing. That saying of new year, new me, that's such a popular saying, but it doesn't hold any truth. We're not really transforming into someone else at midnight. There's nothing actually magical about the new year. The new year doesn't change anything about us being ready for a change. You can make a change anytime you want. You don't have to wait for the new year to transform your life. We can start that at any time. The new year may give the illusion that it's the perfect time because it's a fresh start, but as soon as the festivities die down, we're back to our same life, same responsibilities. But time is always coming, so there's always time. Maybe there won't be a perfect time, but that just means that you can act anytime you want. You can always decide when the right time for you is. It has nothing to do about the new year. Maybe that brings in some newfound motivation, but you can decide when to change at any time. The second misconception is kind of about that newfound motivation. You may feel like this year is going to be different because I truly am motivated. And yes, maybe you do feel motivated around this time of the year, but understand that motivation is an emotion. It's not something that is gonna stay forever. Actually, motivation comes and goes, and it goes more often than it comes. It usually comes after action, when you're actually doing the things that you told yourself you were gonna do, and after you do them for a while, it starts feeling good. You start feeling motivated. Motivation is so overrated in my opinion, and discipline is so underrated, because discipline is really what's gonna keep you going. It's what keeps me going, at least. Ooh, I don't know if I booped the mic. If you feel motivated, that's great. That's rare, so even more incentive to get started on your change, but understand that that's probably gonna go away, so don't base everything on the motivation. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. Maybe you're one of those people that's always motivated. I wish I was you. But I feel like a lot of the people that I know, and me included, motivation is not something that's always there. So just be wary of that. A lot of us are really confident. According to Forbes magazine, 80% of us feel confident in our ability to succeed. And I found that funny because in Psychology Today said that 80% of us fail. So I'm like, is that the same 80%? Going into it confidently is great, but I think we would be better prepared if we went into it with the mindset that it's gonna be hard, because it is. Change is not easy by any means. It's literally doing something completely opposite of what you've been doing for how long your habits have been. It could be 5 years, could be 10, 20. A lot of us maybe have this idea that it's gonna be manageable, and sure, it might be if your goals are small enough. Having a New Year resolution to change 20 years of habits in a year is just, it's so it's such a crazy jump. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Making a change is doing something you've never done before, so of course it's gonna be uncomfortable because you've never done it. There's things that are gonna come your way that you're not prepared for because it's completely like uncharted territory. So instead of seeing that struggle as a negative when it gets hard, because it's going to, see it as a sign that you're doing it right. Struggling means that you're making a difference. When we're trying to change, we're trying to improve ourselves, and that's a very hard thing to do. It's normal to struggle. People start thinking that maybe they're weak or they're not ready for change, but it's not said enough that you're supposed to struggle. When you feel like you're wanting to give up, don't. It's not that you're not ready. You're definitely ready. It's just that it's hard and we're not used to it. We're not used to putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations. Something that I want to emphasize with this idea of pain and change and struggle is the fact that both types of lifestyles are hard. You can keep doing the same things you've been doing, and that's hard to do because maybe you're really trying to change, and doing those same habits are hurting your self-esteem, or you don't want to be in that place, and living like that is hard. But also changing is hard. Both sides are hard, and you have to choose your hard. If you really are tired of your habits, the pain of changing is going to be less than the pain of staying the same. A lot of us in today's society are told to follow our hearts. I do agree, of course, that there are some instances where you have to follow your heart, maybe your passions or love, your dreams, things like that. But when it comes to improving yourself, I'm gonna say that's a no. Your heart is going to tell you a lot of things. When you're trying to practice discipline, it's not always the best idea to follow it. If it's a cozy day outside, my heart is gonna tell me, hey girl, you've been doing really good. You need to maybe take a rest day and chill, eat ramen, watch a movie, things like that. And I'm not saying that that's not gonna be an option for me ever, but when I'm trying to practice discipline, you have to actually practice it. That would be the perfect time to practice your discipline and actually go to the gym. Go do the thing that you don't want to do, you know, because that's really what's gonna give you the tools in the future to bring that out of you when you truly need it, because you've been practicing that skill for so long. It not only helps you with your discipline in terms of New Year resolutions, but it helps you in other areas. Maybe you're struggling with depression, and depression can be really, really overwhelming and you don't feel like you can do anything. But maybe if you've been practicing this skill of discipline, you can make yourself do the smallest thing, and little by little you'll have more tools to fight those feelings. It really is just practice, and this is probably a topic for another video. We're used to wanting to try something and have it immediately work out, and if not, we give up on it. So anyways, I'll talk about that in another video. For New Year resolutions, they stop at statements, right? And maybe they're just one or two. Maybe some of us overachievers have 5 New Year resolutions. You either succeed or fail at them, and we don't stop to assess them. I think that's a big problem with them. You can adjust your goals at any time. Say maybe you overestimated your discipline or your commitment. You don't have to throw that big goal away. You can just maybe adjust it a little bit. That way you can still feel like you achieved something, because no matter how little the progress was, it's still progress. I don't think it's fair to you to throw all your progress away just because you didn't reach this, crazy huge goal that wasn't even manageable to begin with. Also, again, get practice, because now you know how hard that goal was in the beginning to achieve, or what it's going to take, in the future. So you can assess yourself. Eventually you'll get better at it, and you'll start not only pushing yourself according to your skills and your abilities, but also recognizing how to make a goal for yourself. The same goal is not going to work for all of us. Some of us have more practice, and some of us are barely starting. Your goal has to be molded in a way for you that you're not cheating yourself. You can cheat yourself 2 ways. You can assume that you're better than you are, or you can assume that you're worse than you are. If you stop and assess your goals, you can kind of see where you're at, and you can actually work with that to get to where you want to be. I have a kind of like a 4-step program. I'm gonna start selling that. I have narrowed down my idea of how to set a New Year resolution into 4 little steps. So I'm going to share that with you too. The first step, of course, is to be aware. You want to make a change or you need to make a change. Sometimes there's that little voice in the back of our heads. We call it our intuition. There's different words for it, but at the end of the day, it's coming from you. Listen to that. Listen to yourself. It's telling you what you need to do. This is your sign to actually listen and go through with it. Second step is to, of course, prepare. That kind of goes back into the goal setting skills, making your goal manageable. Sometimes smaller steps are better. My brain, I don't know, it just doesn't like big abstract ideas. It just feels so overwhelming to me. And when I kind of narrow it down, it helps. I used to do that a lot with running. I would run for like 5 minutes and I would tell my brain, okay, let's run for 6 minutes. Okay, we'll make it to 7. How about 8? And that's how I would get to 30 minutes or maybe an hour even. It works for me. So maybe that's something that you can implement into your own life. Third step is to act. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? That's such a powerful saying. Everything that you did in step 2, preparing, how you're gonna react when it gets hard, you have to actually try. Fourth step is to maintain, but also assess. Consistency is key. I know that's said a million times a day probably, but it's true. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. Sit down with yourself maybe once a week. If that's too much, maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month. Think of your journey so far and all that you've accomplished and be honest with yourself. That is probably like my biggest motto. You just have to be real with yourself. Was it too hard this week? Okay, maybe assess your goals and step it down a little bit. Was it too easy? Okay, step it up. You can cheat yourself both ways. Make sure you're real with yourself, real with your progress, and you're assessing to make your goals actually achievable. So with all this, I just want to emphasize that we are all ready for a change. We decide when that change is going to happen. If you feel the motivation, take it. Make this year your year, but actually do it. Remember that each step is a milestone, no matter how small or big it may seem to you. It's progress. So don't discredit yourself. We all have the capability to transform our lives. It's just difficult, so we're not used to it, and it may feel impossible at first, but practice makes perfect. And if not perfect, it definitely makes it better than what it was. I believe in you. If not, I wouldn't be making this video. I want all of us to recognize our potential that's within ourselves. I'm very big on perception and the idea of perspective, so I will be making more videos about that and kind of like these misconception ideas. That way we can reframe our minds and achieve our potential that's inside of all of us. So you are capable. Good luck. Happy 2024. Always think critically and remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. Bye. See you next time.